What's up, Internet? My name's Ori. It is Wednesday, August 27th, day number 51 inside the Big Brother house. Rachel gets her study on. Keanu and Rachel go for another round of frenemy boxing. Plus, where do the votes stand as we head towards eviction night? Let's talk about that, plus all the intel drama and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. We do have an episode tonight. Speaking of streams, if you guys want to do a watch party, let's see if you can do it again. Last time we had a goal of 2,000 likes. You absolutely crushed it. We can do that again. We will have a watch party for tonight's veto episode, as well as the veto ceremony, and we'll check all that out. But if you guys need a little bit of a recap, you haven't been keeping up with everything going on, Vince pulled out the win in the wall competition and is the new HOH. He nominated Mickey, Kelly, and Ava as he tried to straddle the middle of the house that is very split. But Mickey went on to win the power of veto, and after many efforts from each side of the house to affect the noms, Vince put Katherine up on the block. Yesterday, we were going over just a lot of the votes with different pockets of people talking about who they would keep, who they wouldn't. Rachel got a lot of studying in. She studied the days and the events and everything that's been going on in the house using candies up in the gym. She even had a blanket to kind of hide everything. Anytime she heard somebody coming, she would kind of throw that over and then pretend to be doing some stretching and some yoga and stuff like that. So she's really doing an effort to make sure she's going to be ready for any of these competitions that would come up that would involve the days and the events and all that kind of thing. So if you guys know Big Brother, if you've been Big Brother fans for a long time, you know a lot of those end game comps do involve that. But recently, those kind of competitions don't come until maybe like Final Three, Final Four, somewhere around there, maybe even Final Five, where you'll see more of those kind of competitions. So I wouldn't necessarily expect one of those, as the upcoming HOH comp or anything like that. But Rachel definitely getting her work in because you do need to know those dates. You do need to know those events. Was something that was kind of interesting as well. Later on, Morgan was laying out M&Ms for Vince, and we'll talk about that convo. But one of the things she brought up was how she didn't want Rachel to know about the M&M strategy and how to use it this way. Kind of look at how the house is structured. It's like, oh, honey, you don't think she doesn't have her cherries herself? You don't think she doesn't have the cough drops? Come on now. She's a vet. She knows all this. There's no hiding that from her. Speaking of Rachel, though, her and Keanu, they have the best frenemy relationship that we've seen in Big Brother for a very long time. The two of them and their combos are always so much fun, and they went at it again in the gym, with her saying how she doesn't trust him anymore, and that he's, betrayed her not once but twice. She said he's been doubling down on betraying her. Uh, Keanu just keeps saying like, "I have not been betraying you. You can't be believing these people, especially Morgan. She's trying to put all these lies into your head, trying to break you and I up." And despite Rachel's hesitation, she did eventually flat out tell Keanu, "You know what? It was Vince who told me that you put my name up there as a suggested person to go up on the block." Keanu then eventually admitted, he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I did say like you could be a pawn," and she kind of just snapped. She's like, "Why would you say that?" And it's just what an amazing back and forth these guys always have with each other. It's one of those moments where it's like they should trust each other, but they just butt heads over and over. I also put a tweet out too because it's just so fitting how many of their conversations end up happening in this gym, which is literally a boxing ring. And it's just so fitting for the two of them. Rachel, I think, wants to believe him as well, right? Like she wants to trust in Keanu, but she knows that she probably shouldn't. And he keeps, opening his mouth, saying too much, throwing her under the bus for different reasons. Afterwards, we did get Keanu, who kind of, talked to the cams like us and even just to himself, I think, really thinking this through. And he is now questioning Vince again after this because he's like, man, you know what? He did throw me under the bus there to Rachel. So he's worried about that. But he also said, you know what? You have to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Just so happens they are one and the same person here. Is he talking about Rachel? Is he talking about Vince? Maybe even both, because it's kind of fitting for both of them, where he has to kind of keep them close, but they are somewhat enemies to him in this game, right? He knows that Vince is someone he wants to trust, but it doesn't seem like he really can trust. He's burned him a couple of times whether it was on the Adrian vote, the Riley vote, even this week now, not really listening to him, putting up Kelly and Katherine, not putting up Rachel like he suggested. And then on the Rachel side with Keanu, he knows that like, yeah, I probably should have her in this game. She's a shield for me. I can use that. But if I sit next to her in the end, I'm just gonna lose. She's gonna end up beating me. So both of them are friends but enemies, and he's keeping them both close as possible. Another kind of interesting thing we had was Kelly, who just went on about how Rachel's been treating her, really almost coming off like she thinks that she's being bullied in that house. That is for all of you to judge. But one of the other interesting things was she was going on a bunch of lies about how she has different people's votes who are going to keep her. And this is, again, just kind of how Kelly does things, right? A lot of times when Kelly talks, I don't even know what exactly is true and false because so much of it is either just lies or completely fabricated and made up. So that's just kind of a thing to keep in mind as well. And we also got Katherine and Rachel who had kind of a chat just to kind of clear the air, talk things out. Katherine said, you know, she thinks that people were just kind of keeping her around and having her back just because Riley was here, and now she has the opportunity to, you know, play on her own and play her own game, but she doesn't know what to do. Rachel, you know, really tried to console her here. She kind of gave her a hug and was like, "Listen, I'm so sorry, but." You know what? Like, I get it, right? Brendan was evicted, and look what happened. I went on to win that whole season. So Rachel kind of even pitched a little bit like, hey, like maybe we can kind of work together. And Katherine said, she's like, you know, I hate holding grudges, right? So maybe, and she's just said that she really has to reevaluate like everything that she's been thinking in this game moving forward. And one thing though that she did really like was Rachel for 5 weeks, right? Like she's really liked Rachel for a long time in this game. So maybe there is something that they could do together moving forward. Like I mentioned earlier, Morgan had brought out the M&Ms for Vince, and this was all in a big attempt to try and see if he would be willing to vote for Kelly over Katherine should it end up being a tie, and really just kind of pushing the idea that maybe Kelly should be the one to stay this week instead of Katherine. This was something that Rachel even had brought up the day before, but it seems like right now that only Morgan's really kind of on board with this. Everybody else seems to kind of push back a little bit just with the idea that Kelly would be more of a competition beast and a little bit harder to get out, and just people aren't as willing to work with Kelly as much. So that's kind of a thing. Also, there is this little bit of a storyline going on. We kind of mentioned it a little bit over the past few days now, but the whole vibe with Vince and Morgan, I don't even know exactly what to call it, but they're hugging like crazy. There is a thing that is happening, whether it is, you know, legitimate feelings or just flirting. Who really knows who's playing each other? Are they playing both, right? Are they both playing each other? Is one playing the other? I think we got a little bit of a clue here because we did get one of their very long hugs. And Vince did kind of look directly in the camera and give a little smirk, kind of cluing us in that at least he kind of knows what he's doing, right? He knows, you know, he's playing Morgan here to get her closer and really kind of build that bond a little bit more. We talked about before how apparently his girlfriend had given him permission to be like, yeah, you know what, you got to go flirt in there, but you know, like, you get that bag, right? However you need to get that bag, you get it. So that's kind of been happening and developing. We'll kind of see how this kind of goes. Uh, Again, if you go all the way back to when Zach was still in the house, he thought of Morgan as someone who was a very emotional player. So maybe this is Vince kind of playing on those emotions of Morgan to bring her closer and make her that much stronger of an ally. And as of now, it does seem somewhat effective. Uh, Moving on though, if we start talking about like where the vote actually lies, I still think as of now, Ava is pretty much staying no matter what. There was a couple of little things here and there where people were even mentioning maybe Ava should go because who's going to put her up again? Do you want to sit next to Ava on the block again later? But I don't think that has enough momentum to really have any votes. And it really seems to come down to if Kelly wins the blockbuster, she will stay, Katherine will go. If Kelly loses the blockbuster, she would be evicted. But again, there is some talks about whether or not maybe keeping Katherine over Kelly or Kelly over Katherine is the right move. Again, it seems like Morgan's maybe the only one who's really in on that. Even Rachel has kind of backed off, but it is still a discussion. And I don't think there's necessarily going to be a definitive answer until we see like more conversations happen today. Potentially even all the way up to the vote on Thursday as people kind of weigh out their options because all three of the noms aren't really somebody that everybody is working with. The only ones who are really, working with these people are Keanu and Lauren. Otherwise, just with Ava, she's going to be safe no matter what. It really just comes down to Katherine and Kelly. Ava's got a lot of friends on the other side, so that's why I think she's going to be safe no matter what. So we'll see how that kind of all goes. Mickey had kind of a long chat with Keanu here at the end of the night. Even Morgan, Vince, and Rachel, they all have been kind of talking about the vote still as well. But nothing really major going on other than that. We could take a look at our allegiance chart too and maybe break down this vote just a little bit more. You'll also notice I brought Vince down just a tad. I think he's more in line with Morgan now at the moment. I think just a little bit above Rachel and Keanu still. I think those two are such big targets that if they did end up on the block next to Vince, he would still have a really good shot to stay because more people would want to work with Vince than they would want to work with Keanu, especially once they get into the checkpoint, aka jury, which is very fast approaching. I think Rachel would have more of a chance of actually leaving now once they get to that point. Because again, even though that's kind of been they've changed the verbiage of we just want to get her to jury, we just want to make sure she gets jury. They've started talking about the checkpoint now, right? That's their whole thing. But I think once they do get to that point, it'll get back to like, yeah, we can just kind of dump Rachel right now. There's no really reason to keep her around. And I think she would end up probably potentially going over Vince. There is even still that chance, right? She would have people like Ashley, Will, who would probably be on her side, but Morgan would definitely be pushing for Vince. Lauren, Keanu. It really depends on who's there, who's voting, and things like that. But this week's vote, let's break this down a little bit. Ava, guaranteed lock votes to keep Ava this week. Will is not voting Ava out of this house. Rachel, Ashley, Morgan, I don't think is going to be voting Ava out of this house either. And Mickey's a question mark. Mickey's one of those ones that's kind of been floating it around as well, but I just don't see her voting Ava out. There could even be that moment with Ava and Katherine because I think Mickey actually thinks that Katherine and her have a better bond than Ava and her. Mickey's been one of those ones kind of pushing that idea of like, hey, would you want to sit on the block next to Ava again? So Mickey is kind of thinking about this a little bit, but I don't think there would be the votes to get her out. Meanwhile, on the other side, Lauren, I think, would struggle a little bit, especially if it was Katherine versus Ava. But overall, I think her vote's not even really going to matter that much because the only ones that you would really have would be three. And unless Mickey does flip on over, you're not looking at a tie, and then it would go to Vince even in that situation as well. And I think in a tie scenario, I think Vince is terrified of that. But I do think he would probably keep Ava over someone like Katherine or Kelly because both of them have said they are so mad at him. But also Ava's somebody who has already put him on the block. So that's just a kind of an interesting spot to be in if it did end up being a tie. And I also don't think we're going to know 100% what Vince is going to do with that tiebreaker because he tells everybody what they want to hear, right? He'll tell this side that he's breaking the tie for them. He'll tell this side he's breaking the tie for them. So it doesn't really matter necessarily what he's saying in there. It's only going to matter what he would end up doing at the end of the day. Let's just take Ava out of this scenario right now, right? I think for pretty much all scenarios, she is safe. Let's take a look at the Kelly versus Katherine scenario. And you would probably have Will, Ashley, uh, Morgan and Rachel, right? They've mentioned that maybe Katherine should stay over Kelly, but you would definitely have Will and Ashley as guaranteed votes to vote out Kelly. I think Mickey would be a vote to vote out Kelly as well. Like I said, she has kind of a closer bond with Katherine and would want to probably keep her around over that. So that would be three that you would have locked in. Rachel and Morgan. They're question marks, but I think they would end up going with the judges, and then you're already at five at that point. Plus, you would then have Lauren, who I think would keep Katherine over Kelly. And then Keanu as well is kind of a little bit of a question mark on what he would end up doing. He might actually end up thinking that Kelly is maybe more of a strong ally and a warrior for him in this game, who could potentially win more competitions. She's done so well in these blockbusters, but he also might end up keeping Katherine as somebody to kind of link him and Lauren together as well, especially now that he is having more and more doubts about Vince as we move forward. But that's kind of where we stand at the moment. What do you think of everything that's been going on so far? Who do you think would end up being the one to go home? Let me know in those comments down below. We still have a whole day to go to figure out this vote before we get to the eviction. So it's going to be an interesting day on the feeds as we kind of follow that. But thank you guys all again so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in each and every single day here on this channel. We have just been growing and growing, and it's all because of the love and support that you guys show me here. If you are new here, though, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Like I said, if we get this to 2,000 likes, we will do a watch party here on the channel tonight for the veto and the veto ceremony. So smash that like button and we'll get that all set up. Check out the links to my socials in the pinned comment description down below. You can check out things like Twitter. I think we're really close. We're getting really close to 1,000 followers over there, so that would be pretty cool before the end of the season. Also, the Discord. The Discord's been popping. It is so much fun over there with all of you kind of talking about what's happening on the live feeds, but we got other sections for things like Survivor Australia versus the world. We're 6 episodes in already. It's only been 2 weeks, but we're 6 episodes in. The next batch of episodes is until next Sunday, so now's your chance. If you want to catch up, get on in there and start watching Survivor Australia versus the world. It is one of the best reality shows I've seen in a very, very long time. But you can also go on in there and post pictures of your pets or even what you're cooking for dinner tonight. So go check out the Discord. It's a lot of fun. We're also doing a lot of really cool stuff with fantasy football. We've got a lot of leagues in there, so you can check out the sports section. And we've got all kinds of stuff. There's a pick'em. There's a survivor pool. We've got 2 different fantasy football leagues right now, kind of filling on up. So make sure you check all that stuff out as well. Thank you guys all once again, though, for all the love and support. If we get to 2,000 likes, maybe I'll see you guys tonight. But otherwise, I will see you next time.
Holy shit, you know what I just realized? I might be the 2nd most famous Keanu now. Ever.
Reeves.
Ever.
Keanu
I
Reeves.
never made that connection that y'all had the same name. I just want to let you know.
I'm the
how I
second
remembered it.
most famous Keanu that I'm aware of. I don't know any other.
That is